After these two teenagers killed a 10-year-old boy for the purpose of money rituals, the ghost of the boy began to haunt them. But that is just part of the entire story. On Saturday, the 10th of April 2021, the innocent life of a 10-year-old boy named Ishmael Mensah Abdallah was cut short when two teenagers whom he trusted lured him into an uncompleted building with the promise of showing him a video game, only to end up hitting him to death and burying him in a shallow grave. This happened in Kassaw, Ghana, and the two teenagers whose names were Felix Nyako and Nicholas Kinney, 16 and 18-year-old respectively, were known to be good friends, even though it was said that family members of Nicholas had warned the two of them from being friends and had tried to stop them many times from hanging out because the two of them together always got in trouble. But what do they say? Birds of same feathers flock together, and nothing could stop the friendship between Felix and Nicholas. They continued being friends and continued getting in trouble together. However, the 3rd of April 2021 would be the last time that they will both get in trouble together, or maybe not, or hopefully so, because that was the day they decided to take their mischievousness to another level. Before they decided to kill Ishmael, these two young boys had been looking for ways to make money. And even though many people will blame this means, it turned out that they had seen an advertisement on television where a voodoo witch was advertising her spiritual prowess on how to make people get wealthy quick. I don't know why they will put this thing on TV, but I guess the television business is all about making money through advertisement. So when a native doctor or a voodoo doctor is advertising their services on national television with their phone numbers and needs, of course, people would reach out. And two of those people who reached out were Nicholas and Felix. When they both came in contact with the voodoo priestess and requested to be made rich, the witch doctor made some demands from them. She requested human parts of a virgin. It's not clear whether it's a boy or a girl, but I would assume it's a girl. And she also requested 5,000 Ghana cedis. Obviously, the 5,000 Ghana cedis seemed like something that would have been difficult for the boys to get. Although a lot of articles claim that the 5,000 Ghana cedis would have been the most difficult for the boys to get, I still do not understand how it wouldn't have been easier for them, because how easy would it have been for them to get a virgin human part? So that part kind of puzzled me, honestly, when I read it. So the boys decided at first to chase the 5,000 Ghana cedis, since they thought that would be the difficult one for them to get. And their initial plan was to kidnap Ishmael and demand the money from his parents as ransom. But it was too risky because, it seemed like they were all neighbors and they were all familiar with each other. So when they couldn't go on with the kidnapping and demanding of ransom from Ishmael, I think at this time they had already lured him into the uncompleted building, deciding whether or not to make it a kidnap and ransom thing. And when they realized it would have been difficult for them to demand the money from his parents without their cover blowing up, they decided to use Ishmael as the human part, maybe the virgin human parts. It was also said that while they were doing this with Ishmael, they were also in contact with the voodoo priestess. So I'm sure maybe the priestess may have compromised to maybe accepting a virgin boy since he was a 10-year-old boy. So upon realizing that that was what Ishmael was going to be, they physically attacked him with blunt weapons until he was unconscious. Thinking he was dead, they buried him in a shallow grave. And burying him in a shallow grave was not part of the ritual process. They just kept him there because they were going to come back and maybe later in the night harvest or cut the parts that they needed, or maybe transport the body to the voodoo priestess. But it did not take long before they were caught, because Felix's sister, who happened to live in the same area where this whole travesty was being committed, came out to use the bathroom. She came out to pee outside, close to the building there, and Felix saw her and stopped her and, told her to get away from there, pretty much acting weird and strange. And she quickly went to report to their parents that she feels that something's off with Felix. Seemed like maybe citing the fact that she also saw Nicholas. And since it's been very obvious that these two together was nothing but trouble, Felix's parents decided to go and see what Felix was up to in that uncompleted building, to see what they were doing. And when the father went there, he saw what looked like something that had been buried on the ground. He didn't think too much. He assumed Felix had killed a neighbor's chicken and had buried it there. He also saw the shovel. And out of curiosity, just to be sure it's a neighbor's chicken, the father began to play with the sand to dig it up a little, when upon he saw a human hand. And it was at this point that the father knew that these boys had gone too far. Digging it up completely, they found out that it was Ishmael's body. And of course, the father could not hide or protect his son here. At this point, if Felix is capable of doing this to another human being, what are the chances that he would not come one day to hurt his family? The father raised the alarm. The police were invited. Angry mob at the time were already at the verge of beating these boys to stupor, attempting to lynch them. But the police came just in time and the two boys were carried away, along with Ishmael's body. This sparked outrage in the entire Ghanaian community, as many people thought money ritual was at an all-time high. And even to the point that young teenagers were now engaging in the act of killing for money rituals. During the entire process of investigation, Nicholas and Felix confessed that it was the voodoo priestess and they had seen her advert on television, and that was why they patronized her, that she was the one who directed them to do what they did to Ishmael. The police also trailed the voodoo priestess and she was arrested along with other people, but not everyone arrested was connected directly to the case, except for Nicholas and Felix. In the voodoo priestess defense, she said she never asked them to kill anyone. Some sources said that she only wanted the body parts of someone that was already dead, that she didn't tell them to go and kill the person, that they just needed to maybe go to a graveyard and dig up something and bring a body part. But that also could have been a crime itself. However, the story eventually started to die off and not many updates was made afterwards. It's not clear if the voodoo priestess was eventually charged with the death of Ishmael, but it was said the boys at the time confessed that while all this was happening, while the entire case was going on, they were tormented greatly by the ghost of the 10-year-old Ishmael, which prompted them to confess to other things that they have done, which included killing a pregnant woman in the past. And when I heard this part, it dawned on me that, oh, it makes sense now. Seemed like these boys had already killed in the past a pregnant woman at that. No wonder when the voodoo priestess gave them the options of getting 5,000 Ghana cedis and body parts, it was a 5,000 Ghana cedis that was proving to be the most difficult for them to get, because they had even killed before. It makes sense now. So killing was not something that was difficult for them because they had already done it. At the time, only one of them was a complete adult, and I think that was Nicholas. Felix was 16 years at the time, and it's not clear how they were charged. They most likely or probably should have been charged as adults given the intensity of their crime. But nothing has been said regarding this case. Nothing has been said regarding the updates. I've not seen so much as to whether they were sentenced or if the case is still in court. But if you're in Ghana and you're Ghanaian and you're familiar with the story, you can let me know the updates in the comment section. But to me, this story just proves to show how deep the mentality of money rituals has eaten our community and our society, especially here in Africa. This is not the first of its kind. This is not the first time we're seeing children commit money ritual situation. This is not the first time we are seeing young boys, teenagers, engaging in murderous acts for the purpose of money rituals. We've seen and talked about a few cases as such on this channel. It's horrible and it's terrible. It was even said that Ishmael's family, since he was Muslim, immediately buried the boy. They didn't even want to take it up for autopsy or wait for investigation to end. Ishmael was buried, while Nicholas and Felix would never most likely get their life back. It's unfortunate. I wish the parents of this boy had done a lot more job to keep them apart, seeing that they were already giving signs of trouble together. Maybe if they had found ways to separate them, send one to a boarding school, life would have been different for these two boys. But the fact that they were so accessible to each other with their evil minds being similar, it was just a matter of time. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Comment your thoughts also and what you think about this entire story. And if you also have an update on how this ended for the boys as regards their sentence, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed, do well to subscribe. Also click the bell button to turn on notifications, so should there be any future update or video, you'll be the first to get notified. Thank you guys for watching.
Then no work be free keba no kaba ni na mene ko no ba nye you for you doko beni wo ba ke mu shimbo esani wo shisani wo ha amla loe kuni amla loe ke ne ke gbe